What's up you guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of things that you should avoid making so you can lessen the amount of luxury mistakes that you make. Of course, if you don't make any more, then hallelujah, thank goodness for you. But if you are somebody who's making some of these mistakes, then definitely reconsider and think about things a little bit more. So we're going to go straight in with point number one. Hot stamping, in my opinion, is a big no-no. The reason of this is at the time of you buying your bag, you might not necessarily think that you're going to sell it later down the road. You might not be thinking that. You'd be thinking that, okay, I'm buying it because I want it and I'm going to keep it forever. If you're going to put a certain amount of money into something, there might come a time where you might want to pass that piece on, and if you want to sell it on, it's really going to be so difficult for you to. It already has hot stamping. As well as that, it's definitely harder to sell on those pieces that are already hot stamped, because let's be honest, not everybody in the world has got the same initials as you. So I would say avoid hot stamping, especially if it's your first piece and you don't really know where the future in terms of your purchases is going to take you. If you have an established collection, then of course go ahead and hot stamp your life away, because you have pieces you can sell, pieces you can keep, and you're more of an established collection. So that's what I would say. So I'm just going to interrupt you very quickly. I know I always do this in all my videos. If you're already subscribed, you're probably irritated by this by now, but I'm sorry, I have to do it. If you're new here, then hi, I'm Adila. Nice to meet you. If you're luxe obsessed, then this is definitely the channel for you. We talk about handbags, a little bit of news, a little bit of debate. I love to know everybody's opinions on the things that are happening within the luxe community. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then definitely subscribe to my channel. I can only imagine it's going to take you approximately 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you so much. And if you are already subscribed and you have returned for another video, then thank you. I appreciate you too. Okay, now you can get on with the video. So point number 2, we're talking about SLGs, which are small leather goods, for those of you that don't know the abbreviation. So yes, I would definitely say don't buy too many small leather goods, because to be honest with you, if you're spending $300, $400, $500 per small leather good, think about it. All you have to do is buy about 4 pieces and you're already on the $2,000 mark, meaning you can get yourself a bag that you've been waiting to get. Don't think that it's the easy route of buying SLGs in order to get more luxury, because actually you can gain a bigger ticket item or a bigger bag that can allow you to have more versatility and space if you just hang on a little bit longer and keep on going, save, and then buy that piece that you actually want. Of course, if you're at the point where your collection is already established and you have all the bags that you need, then SLGs might be your thing. Or if you are somebody who's just into SLGs and not necessarily handbags, that's fine as well. I'm just talking about somebody who's starting their collection and they're thinking that let me just go for SLGs because it's a easier route in terms of the price point. But I would say just hold out a little bit longer and put all that money, bundle it, and get that one higher ticket item that you've been wanting. So the next one that I want to talk about is settling for a bag that you aren't necessarily sold on, or you haven't got that like love at first sight feeling about it. You know, you're kind of just like, oh, I like it, but I'm like, oh, a little bit on the fence about it, and it's not. You just don't get the butterflies. You don't get that feeling within your stomach that's like, I cannot leave without this bag right now. If you don't get that feeling, or that like, oh my god, this is the one type feeling, I say never settle for something that you are not 100% about, because honestly, you're just going to keep convincing yourself about why you like it, why you bought it, why it's correct for you, etc. Over time, it's going to prove itself to kind of make its way further down towards the back of the wardrobe. Sometimes we can definitely be surprised by some of those pieces and we end up loving them even though we weren't so sure in the beginning. Yes, that's true, that can definitely happen. But on the high majority of the time, we end up regretting it, and you could have put money into that one piece that you loved. And imagine buying something that you weren't really sure of, and then the next season the bag that you absolutely adore came out, but you had already spent your budget on the bag that you weren't really sure of. My next point is going to be kind of contradicting to that point, which is don't wait too long. Now, I'm saying this in respects to the bags that you know you've wanted for a while, you're in love with it, but you keep putting it off. You keep putting it off for many different reasons, etc., etc. But if you find that you're in the position where it actually makes sense, but you're just being hesitant for, I don't even know what the reason is, but without it putting you into a difficult position, then go ahead and get it. Do not wait too long, because price increases happen all the time. Stock inventory is affected. So if you have the opportunity to get the bag that you were just drooling over, then I would say go ahead and get it. Of course, if you've done the pre-work before that and you've made sure that that bag is definitely for you, then go buy your bag, okay? But never do it unless it is right. So the next point I want to talk about is going into debt over your bags. This one I feel like is a big no-no, because it doesn't allow you to keep on progressing. It doesn't allow you to buy the future pieces that you want, because if you're buying a bag on your credit card but you don't have the cash to pay it off immediately, then don't do it. You end up in a little bit of a rat race, and it's just not fun. It's not fun, and the purchase that you would have bought is just not as, you just can't enjoy it as much, because you have this thing in your back of your head that's like, okay, well, I still need to pay for it. I need to pay X amount a month, etc., etc., for this bag, you know? Whereas I feel like you should just save up as much as you can until you're at the point where you can pay full cash for the bag. And on top of that, of course, some credit cards do give us benefits and rewards and stuff. So only use your credit card if you are gaining something from that credit card and you have the cash to put straight back into that credit card, like literally seconds once you've paid for it. That's when I would say is the only exception to use a credit card. Other than that, I really don't advise getting into debt over a handbag. Like, no, those priorities are just off whack. Point I want to bring up is buying a bag that's too delicate, a bag that's too much of your baby, okay? A bag that's too precious for you to take out, especially if you're just starting out your collection. When you first buy a bag, you want to be able to take that bag out every single day. You don't want to have to think too much about it. You don't want to have to worry enough about it. Truth be told, when you buy a bag in general, you're worrying about it like regardless. But if it is a delicate one, you're going to be thinking extra hard, and I just feel like it takes the fun out of the bag, and you might find that you might not end up using it. Take my shearling teddy bag from LV. In an example, I think I could count the amount of times I've actually used that bag on one hand. Like, I'm not joking. Now, I did buy that bag because I fell in love with it, and it was more of like a collector's item versus a bag that I want to be using all the time. So my expectation for that bag was already like, we had already spoken to each other and we already knew the deal. But if I had thought that I would be wearing that bag on a daily basis, I would have been really bummed. I would have been really irritated and annoyed, because it's way too delicate that I just can't even take her out every single day. That was my expectation. I would have definitely been bummed. So I definitely want to say to you guys, especially if it's at the beginning of your collection, don't get a bag that you think is too delicate, because you just won't enjoy it as much as you thought you would. For the next point, we're going to be talking about trendy bags. Trendy bags are very fashionable, at least they can be, or we can think that they're fashionable because of the fact that they are trendy. Now, the fact that a bag is trendy doesn't necessarily mean that it's trendy for you. Always remember that. The fact that you see it all over social media, the fact that you see it literally everywhere, doesn't necessarily mean that it is a trendy piece for you and your wardrobe. So I'm not necessarily against buying trendy bags. I feel like if there is a trendy bag that you like, you need to make sure that it is trendy, but at the same time, it is a timeless piece for your wardrobe. I would say you don't have to necessarily steer to the classics in order for it to be timeless, because if you are very confident in your style and you know your style of fashion to a T, then you can know which bags are going to be timeless for you. If you follow that formula, then the beauty about that is those bags will forever be trendy to you. I'm not somebody who has to buy a bag to fulfill everybody's expectation or what somebody else thinks is trendy, what somebody else thinks is classic, what somebody else thinks that I should have, and views my collection in the sense of, oh, okay, that's a classic bag, it makes sense, it's going to last you for years. Now, yes, I'm not going to take those points away because that is true. However, if you know your style so well and you're buying correctly to that style, then any piece that you can pick up is going to be timeless for you, it's going to be classic for you, and you're going to enjoy it for many, many years to come. So I would say don't always follow the trend, because what might look good on somebody else might not look good on you, and you just don't want to be in that position at the end of the day and just feel like you regretted buying it, when it's like, but I can see everybody else is buying this trendy piece and it looks so good, and other people. But it doesn't always mean that that's going to be the bag for you. There has to be at least one bag in your collection that you just didn't think too much about in terms of trendy pieces, just because you can have a little bit of fun and remember that bag as the one you pull out when you want to, you know, have a little fun moment. Okay, so for the last point, I want to talk about stretching your funds too far. A lot of the time we don't, if you're somebody who doesn't lay out your finances, your expenditures and things like that all out clear enough for you to see, you could definitely think that you had more money than you actually did. So if you're gonna go and buy takeouts every weekend, or 5 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever, or you decided to go shopping on the weekend and you ended up in Zara and you then spent $700 in there, etc, etc. Trust me, I've been here many times. This is what I'm telling you guys. Okay, so you've just gone and spent that $700 in Zara because you were at the shopping mall on the weekend and it seemed like a perfect time. But then all that happened there is you took $700 from your handbag pot and you put it into your clothes. Of course, if you have the funds to do that and you separate your funds in that way, then absolutely do what you want to do, however you want to do it. But if you aren't somebody who has organized your funds in that way and you kind of use your money from one pot, it is very, very, very easy to dip into that pot. Those little coffees from Starbucks, they add up. That takeaway every Friday, that adds up. It all adds up. And just remember that it's all coming out of your handbag pocket, unless, of course, you split your money in many different pots. Therefore, you know exactly where that money is coming from. Okay, so that's going to be it in terms of the tips. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight, or maybe if you learned something new. Of course, if you didn't, then it's always good to refresh the memory of what we should and shouldn't be doing. If you did enjoy this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up. As always, let's have a discussion in the comments down below. Definitely leave me a comment. Let's talk about it. If you have any personal tips for anybody else, then definitely leave it down in the comments below for everybody else to see as well. If you haven't had enough, then definitely click this video right here and keep on watching. And other than that, I will love you and leave you here, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.